Welcome to this week's Ask GMBN, where we're going to attack your questions that you've been sending in via the comment section down below, via hashtag AskGMBN, and on email ask@gmbn.com. I've got Doddy ready here for some very difficult ones. Are you ready, Doddy?
Oh yes, definitely.
Oh my goodness, here we go. First one is from Nefar32, who says, my rear shock runs almost double the recommended pressure from the manufacturer, yet the sag is almost 40%. And he bottoms out all the time. Does the factory pump suck? Is the first question. Is the shock blown? Is it time for tokens? It's a 2017 bike. What do you think?
Could be a couple of things actually there. So interesting you said about the pump. Sometimes if there's a problem with the pump, the pressure gauge on it could be reading the pressure within the hose itself. But more likely, judging by your description of the bike, is that the air is swapped from the positive into the negative chamber. So it's recording a really high pressure, but actually there won't be much pressure in the positive.
Right.
So therefore it feels really soft and quite linear.
Okay.
If that's the case, if you're not comfortable with this and you can't identify that yourself, don't attempt to try and remedy it. Take it to your local bike shop to sort it out.
Yeah.
If you can always let the air out of the shock slowly and then reread the pressure on the pressure gauge. And if it's still reading high, that's what your problem is.
Okay. And that sounded like the safe answer.
Yeah.
What was the answer you gave me off camera?
Don't ride your bike.
The shock's going to blow up. There's potential.
That is only if it was in the positive chamber.
Yeah.
If
But
you
he's
had
just
all
giving
that
you the
pressure
safe
inside
answer. He's giving you the safe answer. You've got to cover your ground. Lucas Games is saying, every time I hop or just lift my rear wheel off the ground, my wrist hurt, is what he's put. That's what he put. Can you help me? His friend's got the same problem too.
That's surely got to be a technique thing.
Got to be a technique. I think it's maybe a bit of this, like...
just wrenching the bike out your own
Yeah,
arms.
they're kind of trying to do the hop like that. And maybe, you're dislocating your wrist every time you try and do it.
Don't want to do that.
No, I think Doddy's right. It's a technique problem. There must be a video for that somewhere online.
There is,
I would have thought so. Have a look. Louis Patrick Aguila says, what's the difference between a 120mm coil shock and a 120mm air fork shock? What's the difference?
Not a lot, to be honest. It's simply just the spring. So a coil spring by its nature will be slightly more supple in the first bit of travel. And that's about it. Air shocks are more dependable these days, definitely, than they used to be, and more adjustable.
Yeah, but when you're first getting a bike and you see a bike with a coil shock as opposed to an air shock, they do look really different. And it would suggest maybe you're going to get a very different product. But I guess unless you're really in tune with suspension, you're not really going to notice too much difference.
I wouldn't have thought so, no.
No. Okay.
No.
Reese Wright says, why do they mount the Foxflow X2 Evolve upside down on the new Canyon Strive?
I would imagine it's so it doesn't contact the frame under full travel.
Right. So it's just a bike geometry
Just
thing.
fit it in, yeah. I mean, some bikes you can run the shock upside down. It doesn't have any effect on the shock itself.
Yeah, I just mean at the end of the day, the shock's not running in that direction, so it doesn't really make any difference. Ben N says, you're going to like this question, don't you? You're going to like this. Prepare yourself. Can you manual a fixie? Oh.
Well, I think that's kind of down to the name. So the term manual is... Well, it's called that because it's a manual roll.
Yes.
You're not pedalling. A wheelie is when you pedal and sit down.
Yes.
Yeah. Then there's a coaster wheelie when you're sitting down and you're
not pedaling.
Yes. And then there's the manual, which is you're stood up and you're manually keeping your front wheel up off the ground and rolling.
Via not pedaling.
So no, you can wheelie a fixie. You could stand up wheelie a fixie.
But the problem with a fixie is you're always pedaling.
Yeah.
So you cannot manual in any way. If you did...
You'd be a magician.
Or you're rolling along on the front wheel. So you could manual the front wheel, but we won't get into it.
That's a nose manual.
And while we're talking about manuals, really great vid that I love from a little while back. Blake versus Neil in a manual challenge. Take a look at this.
Yes.
Today is the manual challenge. We have 3 different challenges to determine the best manualer
in the world.
No, just between us two.
Oh, okay. Damn it.
Next question is from Ethan Means, and he's saying, when converting to a 1x setup, is a clutch style derailleur absolutely necessary?
No. In a word, when people first started running 1x setups, there was no such thing as a clutch mech nor was there such thing as a narrow wide style chainring. So the original way to do this was run a single chainring up the front in the centre chainring position, and then you get an upper chain guide basically. It doesn't contact the chain, it's just there as a cage, kind of like a front mech would be, just to catch the chain if it wants to hop off. So you can do that exact thing. Okay. Of course, when narrow wide chainrings became available, the need to run one of those was removed. Of course, a lot of enduro racers still use them just as a fail-safe, so it can't come off. And then, of course, there's the clutch mech. So that would definitely reduce the chances of your chain coming off. It's not impossible. Chain can still come off on really bumpy terrain. Yeah,
and what is a clutch mech actually doing? What's going on there?
It basically adds loads of tension, like a lot more tension, to the lower cage of the derailleur. Right. So it takes up that slack that when the mech would normally come forward, you get a lot of sort of baggy chain syndrome going on. Just keeps it tight all the time so it can't hop off the chainring.
It's lovely, isn't it? The curse of the 90s was a floppy chain.
Oh, chains falling off all the time. Chains up, do you remember that?
Yeah, you guys don't know you're born. It's unbelievable. Oliver Bory says, Blake should do a Red Bull Rampage. Well,
do you know what? It'd be good, but those guys are a different level.
Yeah, he could probably get down the course. Yeah. The trick is with Red Bull Rampage is you actually have to build your line. So there's a starting point and a finishing point, and you spend a week creating your line with usually with a little bit of a crew around you, actually building takeoffs and landings where you think you can create something special. Blake could probably make his way down there, but I know some of the riders actually took part in last year's event, and as soon as there was a bit of wind, they were like, right guys, I'm checking out, I'm not into this. It's so difficult, that event. So just think of the level of Blake and how hard he rides. Those guys are like taking it a step above. So pretty special. It's interesting to think how good they must be when you compare them to someone we know really well. So he
has talked to. Well, I think he's pleading to get out there desperately.
And all that said, I think you're right, Oliver. We should send him down the course. Yes. Zaheen Abra 3 says, I'm using a Shimano M615 disc brake. The problem is after riding the rain, his front brake is making a lot of squeaky noise. What can he do about it, Doddy?
Could be a few things. So, I mean, the initial thing that would make a disc brake squeak like that, so that's a deal disc brake, is if it's got contamination on the disc rotor itself and on the pads. And that can happen on a lot of brakes if the sort of just the connection to the actual brake caliper becomes the tiniest bit loose. You only need like half a drop of oil just to completely ruin things. I would start by checking that your pads are completely clean. Clean them with isopropyl alcohol and then get some fine emery paper and then do the same on the disc rotors as well so they've got a good bite again, and then try and rebed your brakes in. Ride down the road just gently sort of scrubbing them until they start biting. Got to bear in mind that if it is just down to the pads vibrating because of the moisture, then you've got to kind of get past that so it cooks off the moisture again. A bit of trial and error, and of course some brake pads do just squeak.
Yeah, you can be unfortunate to have a set that squeak, or certain brands squeak more than others. So I
changed my pads the other day to a different brand, and I had the same problem as this chap did. It's fine, it's solved afterwards.
Well, let us know if you get it sorted. George Corley says, what is the best social media to get sponsored on? No, I know the answer to this. MySpace is amazing. Friends Reunited, that's a good one. No, we doth jest. No, what you got to do if you want to get sponsored on with using your social media as the way of reaching out and showing your sponsors or potential sponsors what you can do for them, you need the full suite. You need your Twitter, you need your Instagram, you need your Facebook, you need to get on Snapchat these days. You need it all, really.
Do you know what? Our cameraman Josh pointed out something really valid.
Yes, Josh, he knows.
Don't try and get sponsored. The whole point of it is you're out there doing it, and if you're doing it right, you're going to get noticed.
Yeah, if you're trying to get sponsored, you're not doing it right, because that's not how they do it. No. But if you really feel like you've got the stuff you need as a rider, and you're going to get noticed, then get yourself on all of them. Can't hurt, can it? Does mean you're going to spend quite a lot of your day like tapping stuff into your phone.
Like Blake.
Yeah, he loves.
He's got two phones, you know that?
Has he?
Yeah. Keeps one hidden under his desk.
He's always on one.
I fixed his phone, haven't I?
Yeah. Archie Curtis says, hi GMBN, I'm thinking of going tubeless. My rims are 23mm wide. Does my rim tape need to be exactly the same width, or could he just use the 25mm rim tape that he's got? Probably be fine, wouldn't it, Doddy?
You could stuff it in, but the importance really is to make sure the tyres have got a proper fit onto your rim sidewalls.
Yeah.
I would be on the side of getting 23 or using some Gorilla Tape or electrical tape or another sort of tape. Doing a bit of a DIY job there.
Controversial.
People say you can't use electrical tape. You can.
You can.
I've got it on all my bikes.
Right, well, I mean, there's an option for you. Let's take a look at the top 5 mistakes you can make when you're going tubeless, because it looks like you might be just about to make one. Quick fire round, Doddy. I'm going fast. Paddy Kremin says, can you try and get Greg Callahan into the Dirt Shed show?
Yeah, I'd love to.
We can do that. Adam James, is it okay to cut your aluminium seat post down?
Yes, it is, as long as you file it nice and smooth afterwards.
Don't go too short.
Oh, yeah.
Flapjack 1995 asks, I'm really struggling to remember passports and how to pack for riding tips. Riding trips, any tips?
You sound just like someone I know.
Yeah, I've got a tip for you. Tie a knot in it. Dank Biking with Frank says, can you run a bottom chain pulley on a 2x?
Yes, you can. MRP make one.
Oh, right. Okay. Good answer.
Especially for that.
Noel Castillo, how to effectively deodorize helmet pads? I'm a very sweaty person. Oh!
Just wash them, dude. Put them inside a little sunglasses bag, tie a knot in it,
That's
bang them in the
disgusting.
washing machine with your clothes.
I'm a very sweaty person. Black Card says, I'm doing a race this weekend in Minnesota.
A few.
Cool. Seth Y says, do you think that 26er enduro bikes will ever come back?
No.
Fly Fisher Zim, do you know if my SRAM rod will work with my Shimano reel?
Wrong channel, dude.
Could be the wrong channel there, mate. Ryan the Hut, when are we going to see more collabs with GCN? Not in any rush. Reeve Hunt's essay says, are you guys going to be at the Cape Epic next year?
Oh, one of us may or may not be there. Yeah.
Maybe, if you can sort his
Let's see.
achy ankle out.
Yeah.
Mateus Quinn, what is the best way to clean my bike? Really? Really? Is that a question?
Bit of elbow grease, mate.
Yeah, bit of water.
Bucket and a brush.
Actually, there's a video for that. That's the end of Quick Fire Round.
That was good.
Was it?
Well, you went there quick.
I wasn't. Okay, time for Correct Me If I'm Wrong. And unfortunately, Doddy, I've got to correct us because we were wrong to begin this bit. Last week, Jason Burke noticed we showed the wrong video on how to prepare your bike for winter. We showed the old one with Neil, not the new one with Doddy.
Well, maybe you watch the old one.
You know what, though? Anyway. That's not us, man. That's not us.
That's not.
We can't be held up. That's these guys. Josh?
That wasn't me.
No, it's never.
I know it was.
Oh,
Flapjack 1995.
Flapjack 1995.
Yeah.
You know what he was doing? Packing.
Yeah, I'm flapping.
Practicing his packing. Okay, Sean Adams has got us a great Correct Me If I'm Wrong this week. Are you going to like this one? I can get the wheel up on his bike.
Yep.
But I can't get anything going high enough and I can't hold it. Any tips? So let me run you through this. This is Sean's. I think he's going for kind of like a manual. It's not working out quite. I think I've got some thoughts on it. Whoa.
Well,
he's going for a manual. He's using the ground well because he's got a bit of bump in the floor there. But he's sitting back down into it so much. He's not leaving any control. You know what I mean? If you go back too far.
It looks like it's a bit of a hump as well. I always found to learn that stuff going slightly uphill. Yeah. First was a bit easier.
Yeah. You're catching the downhill and that's making it roll, but then it's starting to get away from you. And because your weight's really over the back of the bike, you're not compressing into it and you've got no way of controlling it. So maybe flex those knees a little bit more, flex the arms, try and sit up into it a little bit more, and then as you come in, you'll be able to manual it across and try and hold it. Of course, keep those knees wide so you can move the bike around and keep it balanced in a straight line because you are tipping off to the side there. I mean, I think that's some good advice.
100%.
Yeah, we sound like mountain bikers.
Be pros.
Let us know how it goes, and please send us a video to see, so we can see that it's improved. Thanks for watching. That's the end of Ask this week. It's been a great one. Thanks, Doddy.
Oh, thanks, Martin. Yeah, of course, if you've got any questions at all, you want to talk about some of the stuff in this week's show, let us know in the comments underneath.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can also send us questions on social media using the hashtag AskGMBN, and send us an email, ask@gmbn.com, and we will get straight into it next week. Hey, look, there's lots of buttons on screen. Why don't you click some and see what happens? Cheers. See you next time.